Hey everyone, how's it going? Welcome back to Chef Vic Cuisine. Today we are making monkey bread. Now this originates from a Hungarian recipe. This is a warm and gooey pull-apart bread infused with the warm aromas of cinnamon as well as that buttery goodness of melted sugar. So let's get started. So jumping right into the recipe, in the bowl of a stand mixer, we want to add in 2 1/4 teaspoons worth of high quality yeast, or 1 standard packet, with 1 1/2 cups of whole milk that we've warmed to about 100 to 110 degrees Fahrenheit, or 38 to 43 degrees Celsius, as well as 1/4 cup's worth of granulated white sugar. Whisk these ingredients together until they're well combined, and then you want to allow this to rise and proof, which should take about 10 minutes. And after those 10 minutes, we want to add in 2 large eggs, 1/3 cup of unsalted butter that's been melted and slightly cooled, 1 teaspoon of salt, as well as 1 cup's worth of all-purpose flour. And as you already know, if you've been watching my videos, you want to add in a like button too to make it taste really good. You want to scrape down the sides and the bottom of the bowl as these mix to ensure that all the ingredients are well incorporated. And once the consistency looks like this, you want to add in the remaining 4 cups worth of all-purpose flour. You want to beat these ingredients on medium speed until the dough forms, which should take about 4 minutes. Then you want to remove it from the bowl and then knead it by hand for another 2 minutes. It should look like this by the time you're done kneading the dough. Here we want to grease our large bowl with either butter or non-stick spray, and then you want to place the kneaded dough into the bowl, turning it around a bit to ensure that it's all coated in the butter, and then you want to cover the bowl with plastic wrap and allow this to rise until it's doubled in size, which should take about 1 to 2 hours. After that rising time, we want to grease a 10 to 12 cup sized bundt pan with butter or non-stick spray. And separately in a small bowl, we want to add 1/2 cup of melted unsalted butter, and in a separate bowl we want to mix 1 1/4 cups worth of granulated white sugar with 1 tablespoon of ground cinnamon, mixing those together to make a cinnamon sugar mix. So you have 2 separate bowls for our dipping process. And once the dough is risen, we want to punch the dough down to release any of that trapped air. And now we want to take pieces of this dough and roll them into about 1 1/2 inch size balls. You should aim for this recipe to have a total of around 35 to 40 balls worth of dough. You want to dip each ball into the melted butter first, and then you want to dip it into the cinnamon sugar mix and toss it to completely coat it. You may need extra cinnamon sugar if you use too much initially, so be mindful of that as you coat each ball of dough. Now you just want to place the coated dough balls into the bundt pan as you coat each one. I find it convenient to work like an assembly line first, so you want to make sure that you form all the dough balls up front, and then you want to dip them into the butter, and then follow that with the cinnamon sugar mix. In my opinion, this is the quickest way to get this recipe done. Once all the balls have been added, we want to cover our bundt pan with plastic wrap and allow the dough to rise for about 20 minutes. And you want to adjust the rack of your oven to the lower third position and preheat it to 350 degrees Fahrenheit or 176 degrees Celsius. And now in a small bowl, we want to mix the remaining 1/4 cup of melted butter with 2/3 cup of packed light brown sugar, as well as 1 teaspoon of pure vanilla extract, whisking those together to create a syrup. We want to pour this syrup evenly over all the monkey bread, and it will seep into the dough. We want to place our bundt cake pan on top of a large baking sheet covered with aluminum foil, and this is done to catch any of the butter that may pour out during the baking process. We want to bake this for 38 to 43 minutes or until the top of the bread is golden brown. You can cover the top loosely with aluminum foil to prevent it from over browning towards the end. But after that time is up, we want to remove it from the oven and allow it to cool for about 10 minutes before we invert it onto a large serving plate. Taking off the bundt pan, you see this perfectly formed monkey bread, and it's really exciting after all that work we did to reach this stage. And a final touch, we want to add on some icing. In a medium-sized bowl, we want to whisk together 1.5 cups worth of powdered sugar with 3 tablespoons of whole milk, as well as half a teaspoon of pure vanilla extract for flavor, whisking that until it's well combined. You want to test the thickness of this icing, and if you want it a little thicker, you can always add another 1/4 or 1/2 cup of powdered sugar and whisk that in as well. You want to drizzle the icing over the monkey bread in whatever pattern you choose, and this can be either sliced or people can pick apart portions of the monkey bread a piece at a time to enjoy. And just like that, you've made monkey bread right at home. This is truly an elevated version of a cinnamon roll. This is a great dish to bring for a large party, and I'm telling you, it tastes amazing. As you can see, when we pull this apart, the bread within is super light and fluffy, and it's filled with all that buttery cinnamon sugar flavor. When you try this at home, be sure to tag me at Chef Vic Cuisine or hashtag Chef Vic Cuisine so I can see your great takes on this dish. As always, this recipe and many more can be found in my cookbook, Chef Vic Cuisine Volume 4, Enhancing Your Inner Chef. And that's available on Amazon, and I'll be sure to leave a link to that in my description box. And feel free to click the pop-up on your screen for more information on that as well. Thank you all so much for watching. I really hope you enjoyed learning how to make monkey bread, and if you did, make sure you smash that like button for me. It's one of the best ways to show support for this channel. And if you haven't done so already, also hit that subscribe button too to see more recipes just like this one. And sharing is caring, so if you enjoyed this recipe and think someone else will too, feel free to share this with all your family and friends. And stay tuned for next week where I show you how to make these mini corn dogs. A real treat for lunch or an appetizer if you want, and they don't require much work to make. Well, thank you all again so much for watching. I truly do appreciate it. You can always check out more recipes on my page now. YouTube thinks you'll like these videos, so let's see if they're right. And I'll catch you next time on another episode of Chef Vic Cuisine. And until then, peace.